information to add. And as I mentioned on that stream, Jonathan is who is completing the book 38 Special about the many deaths in the world of hip hop by the 38 Code. And again, as a reminder, that 38 Code doesn't just pertain to the world of hip hop. Also, dead in the news today is the assistant coach of the Bengals, the son of Mike Zimmer, the former coach of the Vikings, who's dead at age 38, who also used to coach in Minnesota, the state where George Floyd was killed on the corner of 38th Street, who was connected to the Houston hip hop scene where we have the death of TakeOff. But as a reminder, you are watching Gematria Effect News, possibly also Gematria Effect Sports. And in the language of Gematria, murder, death, killing, and RIP all equal 38, as does the word rapper. It's an all too familiar pattern. And in this case, so does Minnesota, since we're talking about the son of the Minnesota, or I should say former Minnesota coach. And anyway, not to get off on that tangent of his death, let's talk about TakeOff. And we got Jonathan here to bring the additional information that I missed on in the stream earlier today. So without further ado, here's Jonathan, and make sure when his book comes out, 38 Special, you support it. All right, what's up, Jonathan?
Thanks, Zach.
Of course.
So this wasn't the first time that someone has tried to make an attempt on the Migos. Back on May, it was reported on March 28, 2014, that after a show, the Migos crew was driving in a van on a highway after a club appearance when another vehicle pulled up alongside them and started shooting. And notice they emphasize the word van. The word van equals 44, along with Georgia equals 44.
And you know what else? I don't know if you caught it, but Chigozie Truth did a stream on this morning, and he noticed that from the death today to Offset's upcoming birthday, the third member of Migos, who apparently wasn't here, but from the death to Offset's upcoming birthday is a span of 44 days. And again, if you guys are new here, that's another really familiar pattern. Shooting equals 44, execution 44, kill 44. And like Jonathan just said, Georgia, as the Falcons get to 4-4 over the weekend. And don't forget, last year, Matt Stafford, the Georgia product, won the Super Bowl on the 44th day of the year. Not to mention Matt Stafford equals 44 right after Georgia won the college championship. So again, like we're always saying, these patterns, they go beyond death and killing. From college to the NFL, it's all rigged and scripted. The ritual murders, it's the same code being used across the board because it's the same type of people controlling all of these entertainment streams.
So the article continues. Their reports of the group's bodyguard shot in the leg and hospitalized. He also claims they returned fire at the other vehicle, saying there was at least 40 rounds being blasted. And notice the word 40 in numerology, the zero doesn't count, so it's like a 4. And it's like you were talking about earlier, Zach. This is basically the 4-year anniversary of his solo album coming out. Tomorrow will be 4 years since the album dropped. And 4 is a number associated with death. So they emphasize that they were in a van. And like I said, the word van equals 44. Couple years later, 2019, there was a report about Offset. Somebody was trying to. There's not a lot of details on it, but in 2019, the other member of the group, Migos. So Migos is three people in Migos. It's Offset, TakeOff, and Quavo. So, like I said, 2014, there was an attempt on their life in Miami. Then in 2019, one of the members, Offset, was a victim of a drive-by shooting. He didn't get hit or anything, but they tried to kill him in 2019. And supposedly Offset is now not a part of the group. Supposedly he left the group. So Quavo and Takeoff, Quavo is the uncle and Takeoff is his nephew. So they just came out with an album. And just about it was the Drink Champs interview with Quavo and Takeoff came out. It was published October 22nd, right? So about 10 days ago. If you go to the 9 minute and 30-second mark, right? You go to the 9 minute and 30-second mark. Nori's giving Takeoff praise, right? He's like, I feel like you really showed out on this album. You know, you really did a good job. And Takeoff responds, he goes, yeah, I feel like it's my time to shine. I feel like I had to let, people know what I could do. And he was like, I want my flowers now, not when I'm gone. This is what Takeoff said about 10 days ago. He says, I want my flowers now, not when I'm gone. So then it's a tradition on Drink Champs. They bring him the flowers. So they bring him the flowers and they start clapping. It's about the 9 minute and 30-second mark. So now all of a sudden he's dead. Now remember, there was a few years ago, I want to say around 4 years ago, there was a rumor that Takeoff had died. And now it becomes true, supposedly. Or you're gonna can you play it? Or will that
Oh,
that
no,
be a
we
problem?
better not. They might get us with the
Okay.
copyright. I'm just showing people if they want to check it out.
Yeah, 9 minutes. You go to the 9 minutes and 30-second mark. And so, okay, again, so let's just go back to Miami, right?
My bad. I was just trying to get up this story. But by the way,
Yeah.
just did you know that they said he was
Yeah.
playing a dice game when he got shot? The gematria dice game is 38, like rapper, like death, like murder, like killing, like RIP.
Oh, that's a good catch.
Yeah, the Breakfast Club covered that. The Breakfast Club covered that they were doing the dice game. But the picture I saw of him dead, it looked like he was on stairs. So I'm like, who plays dice on stairs?
That's what I saw too. It
So
doesn't
yeah,
even look
it's like they just got to throw in the detail to get the gematria in there.
this doesn't even feel real. It doesn't
Mhm.
feel like he's even dead. Because what I'm saying is that a couple years ago there was a rumor that he died. Now he actually dies. And there's just so much to this. Okay, so just back to the Miami thing, right? So the first attempt on the Migos was an attempt in a van in Miami. So Miami is the 305 area code. And now today's the 305th day of the year.
Right.
Okay, so today's the 305th day of the year. Their first attempt on their life was in the 305 area code. And like I said, 2019, they already attempted to try to kill Offset. Now Takeoff's dead. So you got to think about it. The Migos is probably the biggest group, one of the biggest groups in hip hop history. Of course, one of their members had to go. It's just like the biggest. Let's talk about the biggest groups in hip hop history. Wu-Tang Clan, right? Old Dirty Bastard, gone. NWA, Eazy-E, gone. So of course you got to have. I saw this coming. We've seen this coming. This is a predictable story with all the same numbers that they always put in it. So of course, one of the biggest, arguably the biggest hip hop group of our generation, now one of the members is gone. Some argue he was the one with the most talent. So if you got to look at the label, right? Quality control. And like you said, quality control equals 111. He's dead on 11/1, right? Or this when the news came out. Supposedly it happened last night.
Again, not only is he dead on 11/1 on Quality Control Music, his label, but he's dead 87 months after their first album came out, July 31st, 2015. So Somebody left a comment earlier and said, well, they had mixtapes before that, but yeah, that's their first album on Quality Control Music. So for
Yeah,
people
that
who
was
leave
their
comments
first
like that, it's like
official
you got to
album.
use logic. We're talking about the label. So I don't know if you're talking about their mixtapes from before they're on the label. We're saying this is synced up with the label in their first release. Again, exactly 87 months. And I know earlier I was saying the name wrong, Quavo. I know it's Quavo now. Okay, Quavo, but his birth name is also 87, and that's who he was with. And that's not an arbitrary number. That's a number connected to the beast. And that's who these guys are selling their souls to. So,
Right. And the point about the mixtape is that, they had the mixtapes to get the buzz, and then they got the deal. And then they dropped their official album in 2015.
mm-hmm.
So you got to look at the history of this label, right? It's one of the most, it's probably the most successful label out, right? We can argue that. But as far as commercial success, right? They got Lil Baby, probably the biggest rapper in the world. Him and Drake, and the Migos, the biggest rap group in our generation. And the City Girls are also signed to Quality Control, the biggest rap female group. So I want to talk about Marlo. Now Marlo, aka Lil Marlo, and you have a decode on this as well. But he was, and this Marlo is going in the book because I just feel like it's so important. He wasn't a famous rapper, but I feel like it's so important to the story of Lil Baby and Quality Control. So Marlo was an Atlanta, Georgia rapper, and he was Lil Baby's best friend. Lil Baby made his first song with Marlo. They both got signed to Quality Control Music on the same day. Lil Baby is arguably the most commercially successful artist in hip hop at this moment. It was reported that Marlo was found in his car dead from a gunshot wound on 7/12/2020. Lil Marlo never considered getting into the industry until multiple people around him said that he should become a rapper. This was obviously a bad move as it cost him his life. He was 30 years old, although some reports say he was 27. Did you ever remember when we did this? Did you ever get conflicting reports about his age? Because that's all I ever gotten. Some people were saying he was 27. Some people, it's not a big deal, but
they do that a lot now. Just the numbers will change at the time of death. I mean, by tomorrow they could be telling us that TakeOff was 27 years old. So,
yeah. But I think that the 28 probably fits more because TakeOff equals 28, and he died at 28. The word man equals 28.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
The perfect number.
Mm-hmm. And just to tell people about those routine patterns, I mean, the thing about Lil Marlo is he was killed on the date with 59 numerology, and that's the number stamped all over Black history. Motown came out in 59. Black History Month ends on the 59th day of the year. Slave, Negro, Blues, Rasta, all 59. And if you use numerology, Atlanta, Georgia's 59. So.
Okay, so now, so check it out, right? So if he was 27, then he's part of the 27 club. Ritual 27, racism 27. Lil Marlo was found dead in Atlanta in his car at 2:06 a.m., according to what officers told TMZ. The word sacrifice equals 206 in Jewish. From his birthday on May 1st, 2020, until he died on 7/12/2020 was 73 days. Sacrifice 73. Ritual sacrifice 73. Lil Baby was his label mate and his best friend. Lil Baby's real name is Dominique Jones. Dominique Jones, 73. This news was reported on Sunday, July 12th, 2020, a date with 59 numerology. 7 12, 20, 20 equals 59. Kill equals 59 in Jewish, like you just talked about. Marlow 59, Carr 59, Atlanta, Georgia 59. 59 is the number stamped on Black history. 59 is the 17th prime. Shot equals 17. They say Quavo was shot. Understand, Quavo and Marlowe were signed to the same label, Quality Control. That's why I'm talking about this.
And did you mention that
Sh-
Lil Marlowe equals 38?
oh, it's coming.
Okay.
Shot equals 17. Rap 17. Kill 17.
Yeah,
Lil
I
Mar-
just got to point out the Rockets are 1-7 while he dies in Houston.
while Takeoff dies in Houston. Look, oh, that's perfect. And then he has the album called Rocket. So Lil Marlowe 38, rapper 38, murder 38, killing 38. July 12th is the 193rd day of the year in non-leap years. 193 is the 44th prime number. Georgia 44, kill 44, execution 44, deceased 44. Lil Baby equals 45. Hip hop equals 45. Ritual is 45. The hip hop station on Sirius XM is channel 45. Lil Baby equals 126. It is like the day Kobe Bryant died, 126, 2020. It's also like the day Blue Benji Kobe died, 12/6, 2020. Quality Control is the label Lil Baby and Marlo were both signed under. Quality Control 67, Blood Sacrifice 67, Human Sacrifice 67, Soul 67. Right? You got to sell your soul, right? So on 1/14/2022, that was this year, another rapper who was signed to Quality Control at the time of his death was shot and killed. He was a rapper from Miami, Florida. His name was Wavy Navy Pooh. He was ambushed in a car while driving with his kids. It's interesting to note that both rappers Marlo and Wavy Navy Pooh both died in a car and they were signed to the same record label.
And again, Wavy Navy Pooh, the name of all names, he was killed on a date with 38 numerology, January 15th, 22, right?
The 14th.
Oh, was it the news broke on January 15th? The
The
news
news
broke
broke
on
on the
38
15th.
days.
Yep.
That's what it was. Okay.
Yeah. The news broke. Yep. So both, and remember the first attempt on the Migos was in a van. Marlo gets killed in a car. Wavy Navy Pooh gets killed in a car. Now, the City Girls are from Miami, the biggest girl hip hop group in hip hop, and they're signed to Quality Control. And somebody in Miami, one of the a fellow rapper dies in Miami, while this girl group is signed to the biggest, basically the biggest label, right? And then the Migos is signed to this label, Lil Baby signed to this label, and not only that, but Young Greatness, who he had a couple of songs, he was also signed to Quality Control, and he was murdered. He was murdered. He was found dead in New Orleans. So if you look at this label, um, well, it's like I explained in the book, right? Um, the smaller rapper gets sacrificed for the bigger rapper. Like nobody ever heard of Wavy Navy Pool, but everybody's heard of the City Girls. So it's almost like a sacrifice for the small. Nobody's ever heard like think about it. Marlo and Baby signed on the same day. Marlo gets killed, and Baby's career takes off. So the smaller rapper gets sacrificed for the bigger one. Takeoff, he was like the least known artist of the group, right? The two um, Offset and Quavo were had more fame or were more well known compared to Takeoff, right? So the least known member of the group gets sacrificed, for the bigger artists.
Indeed. Indeed. Yeah.
Now, some people are mentioning okay, so now we could talk about Houston. People are saying that he was with Jazz Prince, who's Jay Prince's son. Supposedly this was his party or something. What? Okay, so
Halloween party, I imagine.
oh, Halloween party. Okay, okay. So now, all right. So now think about this. On that same Drink Champs interview, right? Nori asked him the question that everybody asks. Oh, hip hop. Do you think it's the most dangerous job in the world? And their response is, yeah, hip hop is the most dangerous jobs in the world, but that's why we stay with security. That's why we stay with guns. That's why we've never had a problem. This interview just came out about 10 days ago.
But by the
Now,
way,
now, yeah,
a detail that came out since I did the stream this morning is they're saying his own security accidentally shot him. Did you hear that?
I just heard that about 20 minutes ago. It's a joke. So, but he and Nori actually, you got to watch the Drink Champs interview, right? Um, there's there's not that many interesting parts about it, but he asks him. He says, "Hey, what do you think?" And he's like, "Yeah, that's why we stay with guns. We stay with security. We never had a problem." But obviously, they have had problems because I just told you that they attempted to kill him in a drive-by in Miami. Then in 2019, another drive-by attempt on Offset, and now TakeOff is dead in Houston. So this ain't adding up. If you knowing that it's so dangerous to be a rapper, how come they always getting caught slipping? Nobody's ever shooting back. There's never a story of other than maybe Gucci Man of a rapper actually protecting his life because supposedly somebody tried to come at Gucci Man and he killed the assailant. But there's never a story like that. That's the only one I know of. But all these rappers talk about is guns and killing and how they strapped and how they gangster and nobody could try them. But every other week is somebody dropping dead. This ain't adding up. This ain't adding up.
Well, it only adds up in the gematria sense, but yeah, the stories never really make any sense. The only thing that adds up is the numbers. And speaking of which, I mean, we're always talking about these guys' social media profiles too. And again, I mean, you can look into it. These celebrities, some of them will even talk about how their social media is stage managed. But what are the odds that Takeoff's on 83 Instagram posts? His birth name equals 83, just like murder's 83. And again, if you guys are new here, we talk about that number all the time with murder too, because if you don't use numerology, murder's 83, and the song Murder by Numbers came out in 83. And I realize his Instagram's boosted by 100K since I did the stream this morning. This morning it's at 8.2 million followers. It's up to 8.3 million followers to go with his 83 posts right now.
And his name equals 83. Perfect.
His birth name, yeah, his birth name's 83. Again perfect. And again, man. And what was his last post? I didn't even look at his last social media post. So often these guys are dropping clues.
Oh, there's definitely some clues in that Drink Champs interview.
Yeah, there's always clues abound, man. I mean, there's always clues abound. What was it? Oh, I'm not logged in because I'm on Sweet Lady's computer, but
let me so Jazz Prince, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's the son of Jay Prince, and Jay Prince is the head of Rap-A-Lot Records.
Okay. Which is a Houston label, right?
Houston label, right. And Jazz Prince is the one who supposedly discovered Drake, took him to Rap-A-Lot. Somehow Jay Prince made it happen where he met Lil Wayne and Baby. But so this is Jazz Prince's party, and the history of Rap-A-Lot is suspect as well. This is the first rapper that ever got killed on Rap-A-Lot Records was Seagram. Right, Seagram was a rapper from Oakland, California. Oakland, California equals 74. Seagram was shot and killed in a drive-by shooting on, and you was talking about 213 earlier. He was killed in a drive-by shooting on 7/31/96. This was the 213th day of 1996. Drive-by shooting equals 213. Nigga equals 213. Black History Month 213. Racism 213. Black Panther 213, which started in Oakland.
Mm-hmm.
Tupac's last album while he was alive was released on 213, 1996.
And just for people who weren't alive
So,
then, they pushed that album back again and again and again and again and again until it finally ended up on that day. And again, he's dead 213 days later. Not to mention it's the 44th day of the year, 213, and shooting is 44. And how did he die? Supposedly from a shooting. I think he meant to make a point about Marlowe getting shot on the 193rd day of the year, the 44th prime as well.
oh yeah, I read about that. Yeah, it's in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. To go along with all the other 44s with Georgia execution. Um, so it's just Georgia's big on that 44. And okay, so yeah, so what I was saying with Seagram, right, is yeah, so 213 days later, Tupac's dead from a drive-by shooting after his album came out on 213. Tupac's mother was a member of the Black Panthers. Tupac's first album was recorded in Oakland. And as for the number 83, which we just talked about, Seagram Miller equals 83. Rap-A-Lot equals 83. Murder, 83. Right? So Seagram Miller, he had the perfect name, just like TakeOff has the perfect name, right? TakeOff's real name equal 83. Seagram Miller had the perfect name for the ritual. And he was on the right label. Rap-A-Lot equals 83, right?
Mm-hmm.
The song Murder by Numbers came out in 83 by the band The Police. Most of the time it's the police killing these rappers.
And imagine we went to the police with all this information, all these patterns about all these dead rappers, unsolved murders. What are the police going to do about it? They're going to do nothing about it. So,
of course. They're not gonna
imagine if we had the authority of the state and we could look into this. Here, we want to know who's behind managing his Instagram profile. Well, we'd have all the right questions. We'd figure out who's really behind this because we got the. So, again, people have to really think about what's going on, the bigger picture. The authorities always given the stories. And I watched the police officer's interview since I did the stream this morning, given the details. He seems so lackadaisical about it. If anybody out there has any information, let us know, because right now we don't really know a whole lot. It's just like his whole demeanor's off. I mean, like, you feel like he'd be talking in a different way if you're talking about a dead person and you really want to find out who killed him. And then that's where I always shrug my shoulders too and say, are these people even really dying, or is this just the end of the rap career? They had to clear the stage for the next guy who sold his soul. So
that's what I'm saying. It don't look real to me. I don't even think he's dead. But first of all, just back to the police at that point, you're in Houston, you're in one of the biggest cities in the world, at a bowling alley. You're Jazz Prince. There's all these people around. Everybody got a camera. Like where like you telling me you don't know what happened? Nobody's seen nothing. Everybody got a camera. You always just see him on the floor bleeding. That's it. Same thing with Nipsey, on the floor bleeding. PNB Rock on the floor bleeding. TakeOff on the floor bleeding. This stuff don't even look real. Like, how come there's never shoot footage of the actual shooting and everybody's got a camera? Now I can understand back in the day with Seagram and Tupac and Biggie, there wasn't no cell phones like that, right? So maybe okay, we can go for that, right? But in 2022, no footage and nothing. Like even okay, like what like with PNB Rock, it's just like he sends his location and then all of a sudden the killers come. I mean, come on, nobody ever knows nothing. It's the police doing it. What else could it be? They're not going to tell on themselves.
mm-hmm.
So check it out. So Seagram was the first rapper to die on Rap-A-Lot Records, but certainly not the last. The name of his 3 albums is in order: The Dark Roads equals 74, Reality Check, and Souls on Ice. Those are some gloomy titles, right?
Indeed.
The number 42 is a huge number in the study of gematria and how it gets applied on Black people. I wrote about the number 59 earlier. They often put 59 and 42 together. J. Prince, 42, Souls on Ice, 42. The actual first black baseball player in the white major leagues played in exactly 42 games before his career ended. Moses Walker, 42, Nigga, 42, Boy, 42, Tuskegee, 42, Bus, 42, Martin, 42, Malcolm X, 42, February, 42.
LeBron James, 42. Just wait until he retires at 42. Hank Aaron retired at 42. Last year, the 42nd pitch of the game, we were calling in real time. We smelled it going out of the park on the bat. Jorge Soler, he pushed the game away on the 42nd pitch with the big home run. Again, same stuff all over the place. And by the way, just with regards to the killing of black men, did you see the Dead Kennedys drummer this weekend?
I saw that, but I didn't click on your video. I saw the headline though.
Again, they're always
I,
killing the drummers in these bands. Drummer equals 38. The Dead Kennedys drummer slipped and fell and died, and at age 63, like JFK killed in 63, and then he's dead 111 days after his birthday, like Dead Kennedys is 111. Again, I mean, in a way, you could say he was lucky to live to 63 in the music industry, but it's a reminder. I mean, you don't just have to be a rapper; that they're killing a lot of these entertainers by the numbers. And
just back to the 42. Prodigy from Mobb Deep died when he was 42 years old.
yeah.
Aretha Franklin released 42 studio albums in her career.
And aside from the numbers, Aretha dies on the anniversary of Elvis, the king of rock and roll, the queen of soul, Aretha. And then Mobb Deep, Prodigy, he dies during what was it? Sickle cell
anemia
awareness
week
weekend or something. It was like, come on, man.
out of all the weekends. And then that's what I'm saying. Like Tupac said he was going to kill all his enemies. And all these rappers around Tupac, you got to realize that all these rappers died around Tupac. Like, for example, Stretch, he was a part of Live Squad and he was down with Tupac, right? So Stretch dies, right? And he's affiliated with Tupac. The next rapper, Seagram, dies, who's from Oakland. Then Tupac dies. Then after that, Yaki Gaddafi dies, who was a part of the Outlaws. So Stretch, a part of the Live Squad, who Tupac was a part of when he was in New York. Seagram, who's from Oakland, where Tupac recorded his first album. Then it's Tupac. Then it's Yaki Gaddafi, who's a member of the Outlaws. Then after that, it's the Notorious Big. So all these rappers are like closely related to Tupac. So, the ones that died before and after.
And just going back to Prodigy, he dies in Vegas like Tupac, and Tupac had the little beef with him.
Right. He said he was going to kill all his enemies. Tupac said he was going to kill all his enemies. And what is the odds that he dies in Vegas, where you can legally fake your death? There's no proof of Pac even dying. There's no footage on the script. Now, in '96, okay, it wasn't cell phones like that, like the ones we got now. So what's the explanation for now? How come there's never any footage of anything? Like you see, how do we know that's even his dead body on that stairs? We don't know. This is the only grainy footage they ever give us. Okay, when they say Kobe died off that helicopter, you're telling me there's no footage of nothing? All these teenage girls that are on TikTok constantly and Instagram and just trying to, of course, you're going to be like, hey, I'm on a, you know what I'm saying? I'm on a, come on, bro. Like I'm on a helicopter with Kobe. I'm going to go viral. That's all they care about. So there's no proof of nothing. Like,
Indeed. I just think it's funny to think back. When I first found this knowledge, I went back and looked at all these old unsolved deaths and murders, and I started noticing 38 was encoded in all of them. Tupac dead on the 38 date, Notorious B.I.G. dead on the 38 date. We just talked about JFK. Walter Cronkite breaks the news about JFK's death by saying some 38 minutes ago, the president passed away. And again, from those observations nearly 10 years ago now, up to now, we have a million more observations about this number. And even in this one, where at first it doesn't look like there's actually a 38 on the death of Takeoff, but then they got to say he died during a dice game, even though, again, like we said, that doesn't make any sense, but because he was on the stairs shot. But dice game equals 38. It's like they got to just make it part of the ritual. And that's why people should see that this stuff is ritual. They just got to add details. They got to throw numbers into the story to make the ritual complete.
Yes. Understand that that TakeOff was born on a date with 38 numerology. Let me verify that because I checked it earlier, but let me make sure of that.
So the latest intel is TakeOff was born on a date with 38
But
numerology?
hold on. I gotta verify that for sure. Wait a minute.
June 18th, 94.
Let me
Yeah,
verify that.
that's right.
That's
Yeah,
right.
that's 38 date. Yeah, he was born on a 38 date numerology, and his birth name is 83. Murder 38 and 83. Perfect.
They gotta see. There's a 30. See, that's why the book never ends. For one, but all these big rappers, on all the rappers, I'm gonna put the 38 in there.
You know what
TakeOff born
else?
on a date with 38 numerology.
I see something else. Okay,
So
so for people who
yeah,
are new here, his birthday is June 18th, 1994. So there's different paths to the date numerology, but you're using all the digits of the number. So 6 plus 1 plus 8 plus 1 plus 9 plus 9 plus 4 is 38. So 38. If there's another path for getting the date numerology, they'll all break down to the same number. 38 breaks down to 11, breaks down to 2. But another path is 6 plus 18 plus 19 plus 94, which equals 137. He's dead on his 137th day of his age, and bowling alley equals 137. And again, his birthday, because again, we're near the anniversary. Well, we're near the anniversary of the tragedy in Houston last year on November 5th, which is the day in history Tupac's Machiavelli album come out, a play on Machiavelli, who also faked his death. And let's not forget they announced his mom's death on the real Machiavelli's birthday. That's Tupac's mom I'm talking about. But Tupac, he died on a date with numerology of 38 and 118. His numerology path is also 6 plus 18 plus 94, which is also 118. So his birth numerology is a lot like the death numerology for the date Tupac passed. And somebody said the first story they saw this morning was a picture of him in whatever news source they're looking at wearing a Tupac t-shirt. And that's probably not an accident. So
what? Oh, wait. Give me the 118 again.
because
Yeah. Okay.
he's born 6/18/94, right? So 6 plus 18 plus 94 is 118. And for people who are new here in Jewish,
Oh yeah. Okay.
death and homicide are 118.
Oh wait, that's huge. Wait a minute. That's huge. That's so huge, Zach. Wait a minute. That is huge. When a date. Okay. Hip hop's birthday is 8/11/1973. A date that can be written as 118.
Mm-hmm.
Homicide equals 118. Death 118. The Outlaws, a California-based rap group whose leader was Tupac, has had most of their members die behind the number 118. The word outlaws equals 118.
Mm-hmm.
The word outlaws equals 118. Of course, Tupac died on a date with 118 date numerology. Just like you just said, Lassane Parish Crooks, that was supposedly Tupac's real name, equals 118. Edward Washington Jr. equals 118. Excuse me. Bruce Edward Washington Jr. equals 118, and Bruce is Hussein's Fatal's real name. Hussein's Fatal, who's a member of the Outlaws, his real name equals 118. And Big Psych, another member of the Outlaws, died in 2016 in Hawthorne, California. The longitude of Hawthorne is 118. On 1/18/2021, a date that can be written like 118, a rapper named Bag Chaser Kez was shot and killed. And Bag Chaser Kez equals 59. And on the same date, on 1/18/2021, another rapper died from gun violence. His name was Trouble Fan Prophet. So that's why I want to, because that's why I want to add that 118, since you just were talking about 118 with TakeOff.
Jonathan, somebody
Yeah,
just pointed out that today's the death anniversary of Mac Dre. Am I remember this right? Was Mac Dre shot in a van?
That's right. in Kansas City. In Kansas City. Okay, I gotta look up Kansas City now.
Okay, because you were just saying that there was like a kill attempt on Migos when they were in a van, and now
Eh,
he's dead on the anniversary of Mac Dre, who was
That's
shot in a
crazy. Yeah, that's crazy, Zach. That's crazy. And Van equals 44.
van, and 37, just like Georgia.
Wait a minute. That's right, Mac Dre.
Let me
Uh,
look this up. I want
uh,
to confirm that he was killed in a van, but that's the way I
no,
remember
he
it
was
being.
killed in a van. I'm sure he was. Yeah, van. He was killed in the van, wasn't he? Yeah, yeah, he was killed in the van in a drive-by on the highway.
Yeah, here's the story
Eh,
right here. After
Yeah,
Hicks and the other Thiz Entertainment members had performed a show in Kansas City, Missouri on October 31st, Halloween, an unidentified gunman shot at the group's van as it traveled to U.S. Route 71 in the early morning hours, November 1st. Yeah, that's what I mean. They're always paying tribute to history.
wow. This is mind blowing.
I'm
This is
pretty sure
mind blowing.
Mac Dre's death is in my first book, Letters and Numbers. So
And then okay, think about it, right? Mac Dre from Vallejo, right? Mac Dre had all the talent. And then it's almost like what I keep saying. At the time, Mac Dre and E40 were probably like on the same level, right? So then Mac Dre goes, and what happens? E40 goes on to have an astronomical career selling liquor, food.
he's still making songs for the 49ers. I mean, just everything.
He goes on and has a huge career.
Look at this, man.
It,
Look at it. The Migos van shooting was on the 87th day of the year.
wow.
See? And now dead 87 months after the first album came out.
Yes.
See, all this stuff is just
Yes.
story and narrative. It's all narrative. And it says right there, Versace trio. And Itachi pointed out that today's 900 and I forget what something about Versace and 9/11, which again is a number that goes right back to Vatican Hill. But yeah, this news broke on the 87th day of the year about their van getting shot at. And see, it just makes more and more sense. And now dead on the anniversary of Mac Dre killed in the van. I'm gonna have to go back and look at Mac Dre's death.
Mac Dre's death is real interesting.
And look at what they were on. They were on Interstate 95. Remind me, Halloween, the day. Okay, for people who don't know the history, the Jesuits. Again, we're saying the Jesuits are behind all of this, and I know
95
we're right about
thesis.
that. Just like bowling alley equals Society of Jesus. But the Jesuits were created to counter the 95 Theses, and Halloween is super important to the Jesuits because the 95 Theses was posted on Halloween, where, of course, Halloween equals 95 in Gematria. Notice last night on Halloween, number 95, Myles Garrett for the Browns had the huge game. A year ago on Halloween, the Braves were beat 9-5, 9,500 days after they won the World Series in 95 in Atlanta. And they beat Houston last year. And now here we are with the World Series, and Houston's back in it. And he's from Atlanta, dead in Houston. So.
And back to the 44, Mac Dre equals 44. Mac Dre equals, not only that, Mac Dre equals 44 and 37 and
Like,
118, all numbers we just finished talking about.
mm-hmm. Uh-huh. And
The
you know
word
what's
van
annoying?
equals
I was just on a
44.
panel explaining this stuff to guys, and they're like, oh, it sounds stupid to me. It sounds like, I hate when you start talking to people about this stuff, and they're like, well, with numbers, you can, like, really find any pattern if you're just looking for it. And it's just like, dude, are we the ones killing these rappers by the same number every month? I mean, come on, man. It's that low IQ stuff that's allowing this stuff to go on, man. And again, there were 3 religious guys I was talking to yesterday, so I don't expect much from religious people. Again, to me, that's the first sign that you're really low functioning. But yeah, it gets annoying that people denounce this stuff and say, we're just looking for the patterns. I mean, come on, man. We're putting the pieces of the puzzle together here. So.
Right. This is going to be the most thorough, in-depth look at this death. As the days goes by, of course, we're going to find more information, but this is just fresh. Like, where else? I mean, think about it. Like, they putting these numbers on them for a reason.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They got the ritual numbers. They got the ritual numbers. The word Migos is 27. Let me go back to it. I like the way Derek designed the new calculator. At first, I ain't like it, but now I'm getting used to it.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same. He just I don't like how he changed the number input. I don't know why he did that. It's the third time he's done that. I don't know why he just keeps shifting the number input. And yeah, I don't know why he changed the name of Jewish gematria to Latin gematria, but it's the same cipher. So
Oh, I hadn't even noticed that yet. Huh.
yeah.
So the
The,
word,
the day that happened as well, March 28th, 14, that's a date with 45 numerology. Miami's 45, hip hop's 45, rituals 45. And again, that's what these are. These are rituals.
right. Migos equals 27 and 2 out of the 4. Migos also equals 72, which is a hip hop number.
That
The
that
word hip
song
hop equals
Versace,
72.
Versace, that song Versace has gematria of 28 and 44, like Kill, and again, Takeoff's now dead at 28. So
Right, and takeoff equals 28.
just like
And
Rockets.
and they're saying he was the man of the group as far as the most talent. The word man equals 28, and 28 is that perfect number.
Yeah.
But he was the least famous out of the group, which goes back to what I'm saying about the lesser known rapper gets killed for the bigger rapper. And it happened with Meek Mill and Lil Snoop. Meek Mill signed Lil Snoop. Next thing you know, he's dead, and Meek Mill's career takes off.
Mm-hmm. By the way, something else we need to confirm. Somebody left a comment earlier because I was pointing out again. Takeoff is dead on the 4-year anniversary of his album Rocket in Houston, home of the Houston Rockets. Somebody said the Rockets won their first championship 28 years ago.
Oh wow, that sounds about right.
I'm,
90,
I'm gonna I'm gonna check to see if that's true.
94, 94, or 95.
I'm gonna look right
90,
now. We'll see.
that sounds about right. When they beat the Knicks, I want to say they beat the Knicks.
They beat the Knicks in
Oh,
94, 28 years
90.
ago.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. Isn't it amazing? And again, that's why I wish people would grasp this and just so you can see how it's all connected. The rigged NBA, the rigged ritualistic planned murders of these entertainers, that they sync this stuff up with the next political election. I mean, it's all a script. And you start to look at who all the owners are of all these things. They all happen to be ooish. Well, we'll just say ooish, like we can't pronounce the word right for YouTube's sake. But, and again, this whole practice of gematria is ooish. Here, let me just write it out to make it real clear. Let me write it out to make it real clear who I'm talking about for the person who's a little bit slow. Again, in the most simple cipher, ooish, spelled out the right way, is 74, like gematria, like killing. Again, look up that song, Gematria, the killing name, like a cult, like Masonic, like this nation's birthday, 7-4, which happens in July, holiday, you know what I mean? So English, over and over, killing 74. We remember the stabbing of Caesar, the Ides of March on the 74th day of the year. Rapper, of course, is 74. Think about Machiavelli, Tupac's alias 74. Machiavelli equals 74, just like Jesus, like cross, like Messiah,
And
like
remember,
gospel.
Oakland, California equals 74, where he recorded his first album at.
Yeah, when you use the numerology, Oakland, California, 74, absolutely. And again, when did they put out the album of Tupac on the Cross? On Remember, the 5th of November, the day that's important to the Society of Jesus, because it's Guy Fawkes Day. And what happened last year on the Jesuit Day? On the stage that looked like a big cross in Houston at the Astro World concert, you got these ritualistic deaths. So,
But no, I want to go back to the 31 in Houston. So you were saying, I was watching your stream from earlier. You were saying Quavo was 31, right?
right. And that's the
Okay.
Houston number as we know it.
And that's a Houston number. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So Quavo at 31 years old. And now now okay, there was a rapper named, this is a local rapper, right? His name was L-Dub Workman. He was a rapper from Bryan, Texas. Local police confirmed Larry L-Dub Workman, 31, he was 31 years old, was shot and killed inside of his Bryan, Texas home only hours after proposing to his fiancee. The rapper's fiance, the word fiance equals 30, and the word Bryan equals 30. Bryan is where this rapper was shot dead, which isn't too far from Houston. So the rapper's fiance just celebrated her 30th birthday that very evening. She was also shot, although her wounds were not life threatening. So L. Dub Workman, right, died on 11/8/2020. This date is kind of like 118, the same number we've been talking about. Homicide 118, death 118. Bryan is 100 miles northwest of Houston, Texas. Notice he's dead at 31. The number 31 is huge when it comes to Houston. Houston equals 31. And now I got to add.
Just to remind people, again, we just had James Harden, George Springer, and J.J. Watt all leave Houston at age 31, and then J.J. Watt plays against his old team 31 weeks after his birthday. We kill with this number in rig sports season after season. Just in the last week alone, it came up 2 times, hitting both games. 31's a monster in Houston. I will warn you, though, it probably won't play in Thursday Night Football, though, coming up this week. But notice they got Philly and Houston playing on Thursday Night Football during the Philly-Houston World Series. And we see this stuff year after year, how in one sports league, the exact teams will be playing that's the championship. In the other league, it's the same stuff year after year because it's all rigged and scripted.
Right. All these players, George Springer, James Harden, J.J. Watt, all left Houston, and they were all 31 years old when they left. And Watt left on March 1st, kind of like 3-1, and he got a $31 million deal.
Okay, I got to put this up on the screen. So if you write out Houston, Texas, it equals 46 forwards, 62 in reverse. Simple Truth TV, Arthur, who also knows a lot about hip hop, he said TakeOff died 46 days after Metro Boomin's birthday and 62 months after Bad and Bougie released the song he was left off from back in 2017.
Yeah, what happened was they made it a big deal, and I'm glad Arthur pointed that out. They made a big deal that he wasn't on the song. The song was a #1 hit. The song hit the top of the 200 Billboard chart. I mean, well, who cares whether he was on the song or not? The song was still a #1 hit of a group that he's a member of. But they try to make it a big deal that he wasn't on the song.
Huh. Okay, but yeah. So is Metro Boomin? Is he in Houston as well?
No, Metro Boomin is an Atlanta producer.
Oh, he's in Atlanta also. Okay,
and he's produced a lot of the trap sound coming out of Atlanta. He produced a lot of tracks for the Migos, Young Thug. You know, oh, that's what you were talking about earlier about didn't Young Thug's baby mama die at some bowling alley?
That's who it was. Yep, that's who it was. And for people who are new here, Genesis 46 begins with a sacrifice. Sacrifice is 46 in the same cipher as Houston, Texas, and 62 also in the same cipher as Houston, Texas. So those are sacrifice numbers as well. And again, Genesis is ooish.
And if I'm not mistaken, something happened to Metro Boomin's mom recently. And it's the same story with Kanye. Like his mom dies, now he gets an extra boost in fame, and even Larry Johnson admitted it on this very channel that Kanye sacrificed his mama.
Well, he said that was his speculation. That's what he felt happened at the time.
I mean, there's no way to really know, right? There's no way to really that we can prove it, but
right. Jonathan, by the way, I don't know if you can twist your camera a little bit, but your blue thing is kind of blocking out your face. If somebody can lower your camera, if not,
okay, yeah, I got this thing here.
Yeah, that's better. That's better.
Yeah. So that now check this out, right? Now, we talked about Miami, right? And we talked about Houston. So the original murder attempt on the Migos was in Miami, and then Takeoff dies in Houston. Now, if you look at the order of the way that the biggest rappers ever died, one thing I noticed was that um, DJ Screw, and if I'm not mistaken, DJ Screw was 31 when he died. DJ Screw, who invented the chopped and screwed music, right? He invented a whole new sound by slowing down the music. DJ Screw dies, and then the next big DJ to die was DJ Uncle Lau, and DJ Uncle Lau was with the Sugar Hill DJs in Miami, and he did the complete opposite. They sped up the music. Like it's these DJs are both of these DJs are probably the most important DJs ever. Because they created brand new sounds. DJ Screw slowed down the music, which is what we call chopped and screwed, and that's what a lot of the Houston hip hop is known for. Uncle Al sped the music up, and they both died